The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he, in the name of charity and goodwill, shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. Welcome everyone to Tharp 30.
And you will know that it's Tharp 30 because Grant just told you. Welcome to Tharp 30, the 30-minute pop culture podcast about everything from Pulp Fiction to Stranger Than Fiction to Stranger Things to The Thing, but not Swamp Thing because that would be fucking ridiculous. What are we talking about here today, Grant?
Pulp Fiction.
Is that right? Well, because usually I actually open every one of my shows with the whole monologue from Jules' monologue from. So.
Oh, you really do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. So okay. All right. I thought it'd be fun to be the cold open, and then I rushed it, and it wasn't as good as I feel like I did a lot better in the car.
It's okay. No, you sound good. I like
and you
it,
as
man.
well.
Like,
bro. Thanks for having me, man. This is exciting.
Of course. Let me turn you down right here. Just one brief moment. So basically, we've been talking about this for months, and it's like I can't overstate how much this movie kind of fucked with me, or like I was like, yeah, I know about movies. I've seen Pulp Fiction
right?
When I'm 13 years old.
Yeah.
It's I think a lot of other people as well were like, this fucking guy come around here, like it fucking won the Palme d'Or, like it can,
yeah,
like it. I think people are just mad at him. Like, they're like, it's like punk rock, or he's like rock and roll, it's like, I'm just fucking shooting from the hip, man, and fucking doing the thing, like, and we can, we don't have to get into what people actually think about Quentin Tarantino or whatever, but like, it's insane. Like, this movie is fucking wild. Like, when I saw it for the first, like, okay, so check me, like, I had the fucking poster on my wall before I had seen the movie.
Oh wow! Okay.
So fucking jerky and nerdy. Like, because Seventh Heaven was like, hey, you want these? We're giving them away. It was like window art. We're selling the soundtrack, whatever. And I'm like, fuck yeah, because I already know that it's something cool.
So it had been out of the theater by the time you saw it.
Yes.
And,
oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm 13. I didn't.
Right. Me too. Yeah.
I'm seeing it like in. On video, videotape for the kids out there, VHS tape. And it's like I watched it when I specifically remember this. I watched it when I was grounded.
Okay.
I was like grounded for like the weekend for whatever travesty. I'd some rotten shit that 13-year-old kids do, and like, but I was allowed to rent a video for something. That's not really grounded. You're not really that fucking grounded. And I just remember watching this and just being like, and I hadn't seen Reservoir Dogs. So I'm like, this is new. Like, it's like breaking the rules. I know a lot of people have said this, like the changing of the tuner dial, like from the Dick Dale beginning song to over to Kool and the Gang Jungle Boogie is like, it's like it's fucking insane.
Well, it breaks the fourth wall.
They're breaking the rules.
And and then also like it's so stylistic, and in that it was an actual dial, right? So it's an actual dial that's changed. That like where he's going, you can hear it skip past other stations, but it's not digital. It's not like we have now. It was an old timey dial, and that is so stylistic, and that speaks to what's going to happen the whole movie.
Well, yeah, basically, like it's such a stark contrast, it's just like bang, like into Jungle Boogie, like, so it's like there's no rules to the soundtrack either. Like we're going from surf rock to soul, 70s funk, you know, and man, it just even at 13, I'm like, oh shit, this is serious. You know, like this is already like, you don't see this all the time. Like you could tell, because I was just thirsty for pop culture at the time. Yeah, and you know, like it's just, it's the thing that I needed. It's the movie that I needed, and I feel like our generation like sucked it up more than, even though Generation X was like, I feel like they were like coy about, they're like, yeah, it's pretty good. you know, like, and then
so? I feel like maybe you run around with more jaded, like, or more artistic folks that are used to being.
I think they're mad about it now, to be like, fucking Quentin Tarantino's bullshit movies.
I see. Like, I don't know, man. I still feel like it's revered around in my circles, man. It's just I know, but revered. I'm saying,
but we're not 50, we're 40.
Yeah,
you know, so like it's.
So you think it hits Gen Xers a different way than it hits us?
I think that people were like, fuck yeah, this is cool. But then they were trying to act like it wasn't cool.
Oh, okay.
You know, like, they're like,
whereas
pretty good.
You and I, like, seeing it at the age of, I was probably 14 or 15.
14, yeah, whatever.
And,
I'm like,
because I was late to it as well.
This is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, man. And it was. And I was able to just give myself over to how cool it was, because I had no other, like, this just smashed through the veil of my being. All my brain synopsis were going off with this within the same year or two. I mean, I had, for me, because these all hit at different times, like when they came out. But for me personally, it all kind of smashes together with Nirvana Nevermind, with The Usual Suspects, with, like, I mean, it's just Weezer Blue, like all of this, like, is huge for me. Yeah, formative. And this is Fight Club too. Like those three movies and those two albums.
I hate to tell you this, but Fight Club doesn't come out for like 5 other years.
Oh, much later. Okay, so that's like 98,
99, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Jeffrey, would you check those facts on that one? Jeffrey, get back to us on that one.
Fight Club was October 15th of 1999. Soap was a big deal to them or something.
But yeah, you know, especially for kids, I'm like, we don't know why it's cool. I just know it's cool. I don't, the first time I saw that shit, I don't get these references.
Yeah, you can't articulate what we're about to.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yeah. Like, you know, like, it was very, like, I mean, also, they're just like, hey, kids, heroin and cocaine. And
that's one of the notes I have. That, like, they're so shocking. Well, Tarantino's so good at doing this to you. Like, that diner scene, that diner scene, a very opening scene, it's a ton of exposition. And you kind of almost get...
But that's the reason.
When you're not used to just movies giving you long, single camera bits of tantalizing dialogue, then you're not used to it, right? And also, we were young when we saw it the first time. You get kind of lulled into okay, what's happening here?
What is going on? You know, like, because
I can't track all of it because they're speaking in cool dialects with cool lingo,
making references that we don't know about, referencing people I have no idea who the fuck you're talking about.
Honey Bunny jumps, and she's been kind of the kitty cat. He's been more like, I smash and grab, and I got the gun. And she jumps up and goes, any of you fucking pricks move, and I'll execute every last motherfucking one of you.
It's like, so that
and it's like, whoa, you know, and that happens over and over and over again with the heroin overdose, with, having to kill, anybody that dies.
Well, that's one of the things that I have, like, going on in the opening scene is Amanda Plummer, like, just changing from this sweet, I'm with you, baby.
Oh, and her hands on, like, her head's literally, like, on her hands on the tabletop at times, like, while she's just, like, lovingly
and her, like, really being, like, super sweet to the waitress, but then another stylistic kind of thing that happens though is when any fucking pricks move, like, so the dialogue continues but the frame freezes, So like
I thought that was a mistake the first time I saw it.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm like, oh, someone fucked up here, but no, it's when you're 13, 14, 15, whatever, you don't realize that that's a choice that Tarantino's making, but then you start to see this movie. I guess maybe I'm just coming to the fact that I feel like this movie is the movie to make me realize that you can make choices.
Yeah.
You know, that you can be like, no, I don't want to do, like, I can do whatever the fuck I want here. And then years later we figure out, you know, that it is very stylistic, you know, that, you know, the behind the scenes stuff, and, you know, the Weinstein Company has aged very well, you know, like, and they're going great. And, but before we get in,
I did see a plant in the corner here that just looks really sexy. Like, I feel like I just have to go jerk off onto it. So,
right. Before we
and other horrible atrocities that guy did.
Oh, what do you mean? Who?
Yeah.
Yes.
See, that's
right. Yes, absolutely.
Like, all of these films were.
I was trying to do a bit, but of course, he's a monster.
Yeah.
You know, well, and I think Quentin Tarantino is maybe getting probably a lot of flack from being like, yeah.
Yeah, you know, so that's been 2 or 3 years, and I feel like the questions are dying down. He's going to be able to. I mean, he put out Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and it was so good that who could, you know.
Well, no. What I'm saying is just like deflecting the questions, like being like,
yeah, he wasn't
like,
the one doing it.
Did you know? No, I know, but I mean, like, this isn't the Harvey Weinstein sex scandal podcast.
No,
but
it's
not.
not.
At the same time, it very much, you know, it's like. I feel like Quentin Tarantino took a long time to say shit about it, to be like, you acting like it's like that's not your dude or whatever.
That does feel like a mistake.
Or that, if, you know, whatever.
Feels like a mistake.
You know, like, well, whenever I become a successful filmmaker, I will definitely not try to work with Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, please don't. But also, I know you'd be like, fuck off, Grant. I don't want to hear your bullshit. I didn't do anything wrong.
It's not true. Anyway, so before we get into this flick, because we've only got 30 minutes here, 29 minutes now.
Oh, 29 minutes left.
And we'd kind of talked about maybe thinking about, like, almost as an exercise to try to be like, what is this movie like chronologically without, like, doing some, like, nerd. I'm sure we could have printed out something. Here's what happens first, and here's what happens second.
Right. So chronologically, not the way we see the film, not the way the film is cut, but
right. Well, in the fact that this is like it's a non-linear film, you know, like, by the way, you fucking nerds out there who don't fucking at me if I try to compare it to Citizen Kane, because I've heard that that's a non-chronological film, and there's a difference.
You could reference Memento being non-chronological.
If
you don't want to compare it to Citizen Kane, which is widely regarded as the greatest film of all time, according to AFI.
Well,
okay, all right.
You know, have you seen it?
No, I'm saving it for last.
Okay,
so I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's fucking cute. Anyway, so like it's non-chronological. So I'm just prefacing this by all you Film Institute nerds who are going to fucking at me. You can reference me at grantwainer at gmail.com.
Tharp Weinstein.
But you know, like I believe like the non-linear thing versus just a flashback movie is like they intersect. There's intersection, you know, like things overlap and whatnot, you know. I think that's the attraction about this movie is like there's a great story. You know, someone at TriStar was like, I don't understand this fucking script. It's like he's dead and then he's not dead. This is bullshit. This doesn't make any sense. And it's like that guy got fired. Oh
yeah, after the box office.
Yeah, it's like, wait, are you the guy that said no to this, you piece of shit?
Right.
But okay, so like at the very least, what would you say is the first moment of the film?
Well, hold on. I gotta bust in there because they do talk about the way, you're talking about this being cut into different pieces and bits, and so he outlines.
We're
going to
talk about the chronology of it.
At the very beginning, he calls it Pulp Fiction, and then they define that, and obviously Pulp. So what he's telling you is, I have an anthology. I have all these different anthologies that will hopefully fit together by the time it's over, right? So I'm going to tell you vignettes.
You're evading the question.
I know. And then also, like, it helps with the runtime. We talked about earlier that it helps with the runtime.
It doesn't make it seem so long.
Exactly. So anyway, what do I think is the first...
In a chronology.
Yeah. So what do I think is the first moment? I would have to say, so anything with Jules needs to happen.
Well, I'm gonna bust you here. The first thing that happens is young Butch.
Yeah, of course, young Butch. Okay, yeah, with the Christopher Walken cameo?
The Christopher Walken bit, God. Which I was actually gonna not do any Walken impersonations, but now I have to. So you give me the watch. Gonna name Wanaki.
Uncomfortable hunk of metal
up my ass. It's like it makes me want to do the bit.
It does.
It's what's the other one?
And if you work at a restaurant and you don't put the word Christopher or a picture of Christopher Walken's face on the walk-in, you're doing it wrong.
So he give me the watch.
Is he give me the watch?
It's impossible not to do, and
he'd be damned.
But damn, you're both right. You're both right. But like his eyes in it, he's so fucking serious.
Oh, he's so intense.
Like
he's so good.
But since we're
again very stylistic.
Since we're already there, though, we have to talk about Clutch Cargo.
Wow. That crocodile could tear their boat to pieces. Be sure to tune in for the next exciting episode with Clutch Cargo.
Which is the cartoon that young Butch is watching.
Okay, yeah. He funny. He think Totem Pole. Which
Totem
even me
Pole
doing that
alive.
voice, I feel like I'm not supposed to do that.
Okay.
I'm not supposed to do that.
No, it's okay. Quit trying to get me canceled over here before I even air. Don't at me, bros. So like,
do
I can't
smash that subscribe
This has
button.
literally happened to me maybe 3 times where I'm like smoked out of my mind, like just watching Pulp Fiction. I'm like, this fucking movie's great, and then like I forget what's going on when it cuts to this. I'm like, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what movie am I watching?
Right, and again,
this has happened multiple times, which is just silly to me. And then it cuts to fucking Major Coolidge or whatever, or Major Coons
because Butch's dad is Coolidge.
Is Coolidge, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm watching Pulp Fiction. Jesus Christ.
Right, yeah.
But so like, I watched an episode of that cartoon.
Oh, you did?
It's so bizarre.
Yeah,
it is so fucking bizarre, dude. Like,
all right.
Oh my God! Like, so obviously the mouths move and nothing else moves,
right? Because animation's expensive, son.
And they're not Disney.
1960s.
Yeah, it's. I believe it's like 59-60 was when that show
TV,
ran,
man.
and I watched an episode. Needless to say, it's not very woke.
I bet not. I bet not. So what happens after that?
Well, so
which, by the way, stylistically, it says, like you said, it lulls you into forgetting what you're watching.
Where am I even watching?
Smash cut to Butch waking up, about to fight, and we're all, as an audience,
which is not the first thing. Which is not the first. So
no.
I think
what's the first thing?
I think the first thing is them riding in the car.
Vince and
talking about Amsterdam.
Yes, I agree.
The first thing.
I feel like that's the earliest.
So then that whole vignette, going all the way through,
talking about Royale with cheese and foot massages.
Yeah, through the and then big brains on Brett.
Yeah,
all the
is it not Brad?
No, it's by the way, it's Brett. But he says
in this,
big brains on Brad.
Yeah,
I think that's just a continuity error. Whatever.
Yeah, sure. But hey, leave it in because the scene was so good.
It's too good. All right.
So beyond that,
so that continues on all the way to them.
Okay.
That continues all the way to them. So then They
get shot at by Marvin.
They shoot Marvin in the fucking face.
Well, they get shot at by him, and then
they get shot at. They get shot at by Marvin's not the shooter.
Oh, that's right.
Alexis Arquette is the shooter. I forget the character's name.
Yeah,
but it's Alexis Arquette, which is crazy. Brother or sister, however you want to say it. R.I.P. Alexis Arquette.
Well, and there's another Arquette, the one with all the shit in her face.
Yes, Jody.
Yeah.
Rosanna Arquette.
Yeah, Rosanna. Yeah.
She's fucking great. By
Rosanna.
The way. Did you know that she was going to originally be cast by Pam Grier was supposed to do that, and then for the longest time Quentin Tarantino was like, no one would ever believe Eric Stoltz yells at Pam Grier and she takes it.
I don't know Pam Grier.
Fucking Jackie Brown. She's Jackie Brown from Jackie Brown, man.
Okay, great.
Pam Grier, motherfucker. Come on, get real.
Yeah.
They're like test audience, not test audiences, but like everyone's like, no, Eric Stoltz wouldn't yell at Pam Grier and she takes it.
She doesn't.
She'd beat the fuck out of Eric Stoltz, we need to get someone else. But anyway, anywho, so that it goes all the way through to they shoot Marvin in the face. Mm-hmm. They go to Jimmy's house.
They got to scoop up little bits of brains because I'm a mushroom cloud laying motherfucker.
Then they go to the diner thing with Ringo. Then they drop off the briefcase at Marcellus Wallace's house.
I would think before that they probably
drop
the car at the blown up the shot up car.
And then, I know, diner, motherfucker.
Then, I'm just trying to hang with you. I'm trying to stay with you here.
And then they go to breakfast.
Yep.
And then they deal with that whole thing.
So then Jules, goes on walkabout, right? We got to assume that
he doesn't even do that yet. He like we never see Jules's walkabout.
Right, I know.
Then they leave. Then they in those same fucking clothes go to the social club.
I would call it a strip club.
They drop the shit off.
Marcellus is telling Butch, "You're in the fifth, your ass goes down."
Yes. So then that begins the second story.
Okay, yeah.
So that begins Butch's story
right.
Of I'm not fucking going down. That begins the Gold Watch story.
Yep.
So then the Gold Watch story goes on all the way to I guess the Zed's dead.
Zed's dead, baby. And that should be it.
No. In between those things happens the Mia Wallace date.
Oh, interesting.
Vincent goes to get heroin from Lance.
Yep.
And then goes on that thing.
Yep.
And then afterwards,
we should have thrown that in there. Yeah.
So that's the chronology of it.
Yep. Because at the fight, Vince has a different partner. It's
because Jules is not there anymore.
Right. It's the bartender from
My name's Paul, and this is between y'all.
Between y'all. Yep. Which, by the way, again, back to stylistically, I love the rhyming. Any chance you can to throw a rhyme in your conversation, how fucking cool is that? Now I realized I couldn't pull it off through my 20s, but I'm back. I'm bringing it back. I'm always looking for the chance to do it now. But
yeah, of course. And he's great because there's that in that scene.
Opens the door. Mia says, "Hey, I never got to thank you for dinner."
Right, because they're trying to look for Butch. They're looking for Butch. They're like, it's like, well, his trainer, says he bailed, and I believe him. He's like, sick the dogs on his house.
Yeah,
that shit's awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, that shit. The funniest thing about that is like it's like a callback because they've had that whole conversation about. So you're taking the boss's wife out, ha ha ha. It's no man, fuck you. It's not a date, whatever. He's like, so I heard you taking Miss Wallace out on a date. He's like, fuck you. And like
he just laughs.
And Jules just kind of like rolls out, and that's Jules's like in the chronology. That's Jules's last scene. In the chronology. So like, God knows what happens to Jules after that.
Well, hopefully he goes on walkabout and gets into adventures like Kane.
Something cool. who knows?
Yeah, man.
Okay, so that's our chronology.
He can handle himself. He didn't die.
That's our chronology, and so so anyway, back to the opening fucking scene. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the fact that Roger Avery kind of came up with at least 1/3 of this movie, and Quentin Tarantino, I'm sure, just bought him out of the fact of that he wrote it with him or wrote a piece of it it was like, I'll give you whatever you want just so I can have it say written by and directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, it was a pretty big like contrast. Like on the screen, it was this huge yellow.
Well, I think it's pretty. I think it's
directed
pretty.
by.
Like Roger Avery, the Gold Watch part, the Butch part is his part.
Oh yeah, wow,
like
cool.
like that's his thing, and it was like, how do we piece this together?
Yeah.
How do we make this a thing?
Yeah.
They were gonna make it like 3 shorts or something, and they were just like, no one's gonna give us any fucking money for shorts,
Right.
so let's make it a vignette, type of movie or whatever. Let's weave them together, and but anyway, opening scene.
Well, hold on. Can we talk about vignettes for a second? The shorts that make sense in other same universe, but also existed as other works, and that's the Esmeralda Villalobos.
Yep.
When I was doing some research for this, I ran across that Tarantino and helped me out with that other gentleman who helped him write in the beginning.
Roger Avery.
Yes, they have a whole. They've got a whole. Like short story about her. And
he wrote and directed
like
Killing
assassin.
Zoe. If that makes our listeners referential.
Okay, see, I don't know that, and I apologize to the heads.
God,
and then,
damn it,
son of a bitch. And then there was Fox Force 5 manifests itself later as Kill Bill.
In a way, yes,
So,
absolutely, sure.
He's I believe Tarantino, like again, reading stuff, going down the internet rabbit hole on this.
Sure.
I believe he's admitted, and so is Uma, that at least the premise that
100%. It's an assassin squad,
right?
Yeah,
and the blonde is good with
sure.
Yeah, and she's good with knives and yada yada.
Right, 100%. We already talked about Jungle Boogie. Just like that, just threw me so hard.
Okay.
As a kid,
Yeah.
you're just like, fuck, dude. Like you can just do whatever you want. Like, and it's so bizarre because I wouldn't call this an indie film. It's an indie film by an indie. It's a major film by an indie filmmaker.
Yeah,
like,
at that time, prior to that, he only
it's fully funded by Miramax. That it cost $8 million. They made 103 domestic. So that's a win.
That's like really big at that time.
That's
right?
a W. It won the Palme d'Or. Him and Roger Avery won the fucking Academy Award for Best Screenplay. Blah blah blah. But like, it's like, but $8 million. Like they got every. Here's what's weird about it. It's like $8 million. That is an indie film these days. But in '94, you can make a fucking movie.
A full budget.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But every actor in it did it for scale, except for I think John Travolta got paid like 140. The most expensive part of the whole fucking movie was building Jackrabbit Slims.
Oh,
at
I wondered when I
150K.
saw it today, when I looked at that set today.
It was 150K.
First of all, that shit would work right now as a restaurant concept.
Yeah. Also, real quick, I forgot about this until today. Whenever they pull up to it, and you can see it in the reflection off the windshield
of the car.
He goes, "What the fuck is this?"
Well, but there's a whole deleted scene that I feel like really should have been left in. Have you seen all the deleted scenes?
I have not.
Okay, so there's this really great deleted scene where they pull up. He goes, it's an extension of that. It got cut from right there where you said, "What the fuck is this?" And they had a conversation on the car ride over where she asks
Is it about
him,
Elvis?
She asks him, are you a Beatles man or an Elvis man?
Exactly, and then later on it says as an Elvis man, so that makes sense. I did know that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Well, hold on. We're getting ahead of ourselves here. Anyway, Jules and Vincent, in the car or whatever, Royale with cheese. Like, there's so many things in this movie like that people fucking quote that are just in the zeitgeist that are just whatever. Like, fucking bring in the gimp.
I've heard you say to me plenty of times, "Oh man, you dig it the most."
You dig it the most. Me and my brother. Shout out to future guest Jimbo Tharp.
Hey.
You dig it the most. That's our thing.
Yeah, man.
Also, like, there's too many of them. That, like
oh, I have an entire page full of quotes that I still say that I was.
That's
I
the thing.
maybe
There's so many throwaways.
Did or didn't
though.
realize that they were from this movie because it's such a part of my childhood.
Like there's so many throwaways though that people don't realize that are just the funniest parts of this movie. Like
right,
the boss wants me to take care of her. Oh, you mean like
take care of her? He's got a hand like a gun.
Yeah, dude, handgun.
There's when they first start talking about Tony Rocky Horror,
which is the awesomest fucking name ever. It's the awesomest nickname ever.
It is
Tony Rocky Horror.
He goes, I wouldn't go so far as to call the man fat. I say
oh, he's small. He's got a fucking weight problem.
It's like such a throwaway line, but the way it's like delivered, he's fucking. It feels good.
We'll get to the actors later and how much fucking heat they're throwing.
I'm the foot fucking master,
right? How many times have I said that in my fucking life? A bunch is the answer to that.
You try to find ways to work it in.
100%. But you don't even know what this movie is when you start watching it. It's like, oh, these two dudes talking about weed and beer and fucking Amsterdam. Like what is this movie?
Yeah.
Like I don't even know what's going on here. You don't get the
sense that they're actually hitman until they open up the trunk and they both pull out their guns. Now
we should have fucking shotguns.
We should have shotgun, and then
you're like, oh shit.
And I love that about Tarantino is when he repeats a line or he has another character repeat the same line. It's just so it feels so right. The way they execute that.
It's like I don't know, like it's too cool. Like the whole let's hang back.
Yeah, and
so they can do more dialogue.
It's not time yet.
It's not time yet.
Yeah,
and then let's get into character.
Like
as if these hitmen, they're like. They're normal sports watching guys, and on Sunday they watch football or some shit. But they're like, we gotta kill these people. We gotta be badass motherfuckers right here.
Well, they're telling when they get together, they're worse than a sewing circle. I mean, they're over here gossiping about the boss's wife.
100%.
And then they got it. Let's get into character for this shit. And he actually says it, and then they do. Like, oh man, they do. Because when they get in that room, I mean, Jules commands
the moment, even when I was fucking 13 or 14 or whatever it was, whenever I watched this movie for the first time, he's like, can I eat your hamburger? I was like, these motherfuckers are getting killed.
Yeah, he eats the hamburger. He's
that is a tasty burger. He
keeps eye contact the entire time that he's just chugging through the straw with this Sprite to wash this.
It's like I feel like we're gonna be here for.
Oh yeah,
we've got like 25 minutes left, so like we've got But obviously, like that whole thing is fucking crazy. So the guy who plays quote unquote flock of seagulls.
Yeah,
that dude went on to direct. I've got it in the notes somewhere. He went on to direct Igby Goes Down. Did you ever see that?
I'm aware of that. No.
Burr Steers is his name.
Okay,
I believe the character's name is Roger.
He delivers those lines horribly.
Well, I think there was actually some problems with him on the set.
Okay,
like he was not. Because I think they kept doing like live gunshots and stuff, and he was having a problem with it.
Yeah. Well, he's. As an actor in the space, like he delivers those lines horribly. But I love.
He didn't really act a whole lot after that. He went on to a writer-director thing. Igby Goes Down's great. You never seen that?
It's in the cabinet over there.
No, the cupboard. The cupboard.
The one by your
knees.
He goes, the one by your nut knees.
He's scared. There's a motherfucker.
Yes, but the way the actor delivers the line, it's that robotic.
Whatever.
He goes, the one by your nut knees.
Whatever.
It's garbage compared to everything. But I love it because it creates texture for and also can I use this opportunity to say that this film looks fantastic. Well, to this day, there's so many old movies of its age or older look horrible, like on the screen today. But this thing looks great.
Well, I think it looks like a fucking indie film from 1994, except it costs $8.
But it doesn't look as shitty as Clerks does. If you go back and watch Clerks, like that looks like shit. I love that movie.
I think there's an argument to be made. Like, I think this like 50 grain film or what? Not I'm fucking
the millimeter
that.
Or whatever.
It's I'm sure it's shot in 35, but I mean like, but like, it's like the film stock is like the slowest stock they have. So you're getting everything. It's super saturated and shit.
It looks so good. And it just doesn't age. It doesn't look bad. You know,
it looks
great,
like an
and
indie
I'm so
film.
happy about
but I'm sure the studio was like, I'm not gonna like. No one wanted to distribute it. Like, it's like, so like Miramax is like, we'll just pay for it. I like your vision. You know, whatever you want to do. You know, like, and he's like, I'm gonna shoot it like this. There's so many weird cuts in it that would not, you know, like that would not be allowed.
I got a weird
It's
cut
fucking,
for you.
it's punk rock shit.
I got
like,
a weird
you know,
cut
like,
for you, man. There's this cut where, okay, Butch is going to go into the, he's going to go into his apartment to get the watch, right? He's scared. He's freaked out. Which, by the way, it's his Tarantino's ability to build suspense.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So it's one, and this is to build suspense, I think. It's one take when what kind of car is that thing? It's
a Honda fucking sports wagon or some shit.
I think it's the same car that Garth and Wayne had.
No,
in
dude,
Wayne's
not
World.
at all. That's a fucking Pacer.
Okay, so anyway, I'm probably way off, but
They even name it. It's like, what'd you do to my Honda? I had to crash that Honda, baby.
Okay, so right. Okay,
I think it's a Honda Sports something.
So camera stationary, car fucking pops and stops right there. Now, from that moment until he gets to his front door, like, and it's 2 full city blocks of walk.
Yeah,
it's silent. All you hear is the sounds of the city around him. And he even goes
Steadicam behind him.
He even goes through a chain link, like a hole in a chain link fence, and the camera goes.
Well, actually, he just gets to the chain link fence.
No. I watched it today.
You watched it?
The Steadicam goes all the way through with him and all the way beyond, and it's just.
Did you watch it though?
Cinematic gold, man. Another massive moment of suspense while we're talking about suspense. Can I, or are we jumping around too much?
No, go ahead.
Okay. The overdose scene.
Well, no, hold on. I am going to definitely have to put the pause on that because we have to move away from the fact that we know they're badass hitmen.
Yeah.
And so the next thing we're seeing is Vince going to his drug dealer's house.
Yeah.
You know,
and his drug dealer, Eric Stoltz,
is
Lance,
throwing so much heat. It's
Lance
so funny. He's in a bathrobe.
Lines. Yes, dude, he is throwing so much heat. And you gotta wonder while he's saying all this stuff, like he starts. So this is $300 for
300 a gram.
300 a gram. This is 500 a gram. These are friend prices.
Vincenzo, step in my office. Panda from Mexico. Very good stuff. Now that's Bava. Different, but equally good. And that is Choco from the Harz Mountains of Germany. Now the first two are the same. 300 a gram. Those are friend prices. But this one is a little more expensive. This is 500 a gram. But when you shoot it, you will know where that extra money went. Now there's nothing wrong with these two. This is real good shit. But this one is a fucking madman.
Remember, I just got back from Amsterdam.
You were in my home. Now, white people who know the difference between good shit and bad shit, this is the house they come to. Now, my shit, I'll take the Pepsi challenge with that Amsterdam shit any old day of the fucking week.
That's a bold statement.
This ain't Amsterdam, Vince. This is a seller's market. Coke is fucking dead as dead. Heroin is coming back in a big fucking way.
Alright. Give me $3 grand of madman.
Okay.
If it's as good as you say it is, I'll come back and buy another 1,000.
Well, I just hope that I still have some left for you. But I'm giving you some out of my own private stash. That is what a nice guy I am. I'm out of balloons. Is a baggie all right?
And so he throws all the, and then he goes, and he was like, well, give me that Amsterdam, like, give me the better one, right? And he's like, okay, well, it may not have any more when you come back, so you need to get as much as you can. And also, I'm giving you this out of my personal stash.
Yeah,
that's how good of a guy I am.
If it's as good as you say it is, I'll come back for whatever.
Yeah, and then he's like, there won't be any more. But I wonder how often this dealer's used these exact same lines.
Or like how they even know each other, like because he's been in Amsterdam for 3 years.
Or are these friend prices?
No, they're not fucking
and is
friend
this
prices.
really coming out of his personal stash?
He fucking lives in the fucking valley or whatever.
Right, these are just things you say as a dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is a guy who doesn't work a job. You know, like they're
Totally. He's definitely up when he gets that phone call where he's like, and she's like, Lance, the phone's ringing. Oh, I hear it.
No, but it's funny because like he's eating cereal
He's up at 2
and
2
smoking
a.m.
a cigarette.
Yeah. Yes, he was. Who does that?
And then like so it rings 9 times before he decides to make a move.
9
And then he gets up.
times.
And then he gets up. And then you hear Jody, Lance, I thought I told you to fucking tell these things. Like,
I
that's
did
what I'm going to
tell
tell
those
this fucking
assholes,
asshole
and that's
right here.
exactly what I'm
But he
going to tell
doesn't. He
this
goes,
fucking
hello?
asshole. And he goes, hello.
Because he's just like, I'm probably going to sell some heroin right here.
Right, exactly. Of course, you got to tell your wife, like, I told you not to call, but you got to sell the sale.
So, like, obviously, the whole Lance Vince thing is fucking hilarious.
Oh,
you know,
man,
I'll take the fucking Pepsi challenge with that.
Oh,
shit,
yeah,
you know, like
yeah.
all that bullshit.
And you've used
The
those lines
dialogue-
with me too. When you
I
shoot
do
it,
it all
you
the
will
time.
know where the money
But that's
went.
what I always
Which
say
is
about,
a
like,
line I
do
should
you want
use
to
on
speak-
you when I'm trying to get you to buy more expensive concert tickets because you
That's-
famously don't want to sit up front.
Yep. That's that is the line that you should use. What are we drinking here?
This is Scotch. This is a fun one because a lot of Scotches are smoky, which is also peated, and a lot of Scotches these days are sherried, but not a lot of them are both peated and sherried. This is called Seneg, and it is my favorite Scotch right now.
All right.
And it was not cheap,
This
so I busted
podcast
it out
is brought
for,
to you by what's it called? Shout out to our future sponsor.
That's right. We will take cases. And if you could deliver those to City Barrel Brewing and Kitchen.
We'll save that for the end. So naturally, that whole thing is. So then let's get to the shot, like the literal and proverbial shot. Like, you know, the mind if I shoot up here? Mikasa.
Right, yeah. Okay, so that's
let's fucking shoot up.
So that leads me into a whole category of notes that I wrote that were cool moments or shocking moments. Shit that jarred me as a 14 or 15-year-old when I saw this for the first time. To actually see a dude shoot up heroin and like it's actually
pretty jarring.
shows you how. And like, and then even when he pulls back and mixes the blood and then sends it in,
it's a pretty intense shot.
Visceral. Yeah. It's intense. The music is going. It's like is that a Dick Dale riff? That blang blang.
Oh no, it's by the Centurions. The song is called Bullwinkle Part 2.
Cool, man.
It's called Bullwinkle
awesome.
Part 2.
That's far out, dude. I love it. It's so perfect for that moment.
It is and just like the look on his face where he's driving now.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I'm fucking
did
high.
Such a great job of being high throughout that whole scene. Like
he really did.
When he's at dinner and he's packing his cigarette, he's rolling his own cigarette.
Yeah.
His eyes are he's completely
high on heroin.
The moment and he's very
when he
relaxed.
walks
and
in the house,
and
he's
if
like,
any of
hello?
you out there have ever had
Hello?
an opiate, it's relaxed. Like you are just relaxed.
But he's also like, he's a vet. It seems like it's not like he's not a junkie.
Okay, he's
good
at
he's
taking
like
drugs.
I do a little bit of heroin and then go to work.
And then go to work. Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, like
apparently,
he's
which I don't
seasoned.
think is the thing either.
Yeah,
but like, but you know, like, and then it shows it shows us that Mia Wallace likes to do drugs. You know,
yeah,
like,
well, they hit you with that right off the get because she's watching him on her video cameras and her intercom when he comes into the house,
right.
And she's doing a line before she comes down.
And
so that sets up.
That's also my
foreshadowing.
favorite thing too. Like and it's been memed a million times and made into so many fucking gifs or whatever. Like him walking in, being like, "Hello,
hello,"
and he's like, and he doesn't
so
know
high.
what he's doing.
Plays the high
he's
guy
fucking high
so well because he's just like, what? He's just so confused.
What's going on?
She's like, it's on your left, next to the African fellow.
Your other left.
Yeah, your other left, Vincent.
Yeah,
yeah, man.
It's brilliant.
And and how cool is she to be ready for him and sitting up there and watching his ass and just to kind of fucking she's playing cat and mouse with him until she
I don't think she's playing cat and mouse with
dinner.
him.
She's so cool and demure. She runs the back and forth.
I think she's trying to have fun with her life. She's like I'm bored.
Yeah.
Like she's like I'm fucking bored with my life.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so they go out. It's like let's leave. Like there's a couple things that happen. He's waiting, and then I think it just shows her shoes or some shit. She pops out. Anyway,
a lot of foot. I mean, you want to get into foot shit, dude? No, like even Esmeralda had no feet, no shoes on when she's driving the fucking cab.
This is not the Quentin Tarantino foot fetish podcast, but it could be. We'll tune in next week. And so like, so we go to Jackrabbit Slim's, which I said earlier was the most expensive part.
It was so cool, man.
It's the most expensive part, though. Like, that costs more than John Travolta's fucking salary.
Worth it, because here's the deal. You want to talk about John Travolta's salary. Here's an actor who was
We're gonna save the actors. We're going to save the actors.
You want me to save all this?
Actually, if you're on John Travolta, let's do John Travolta.
You want to do John Travolta?
Let's do him.
Okay, so here's
You know what the movie did right before this?
No.
Look Who's Talking To.
Yeah, Look Who's Talking Again. Look Who's Talking After That. Fucking his career was in the toilet, you guys.
100%.
Like, and listen, he was massive because, like, you got to understand, Boogie Nights,
Saturday Night Fever.
Thank you, sorry. Saturday Night Fever revived disco.
We do our shit over here on Tharp and 30, y'all. Just letting you know.
Eddie's going to take it out in post. Yep. He'll make it sound really good.
Do you mean Jeffrey?
Jeffrey,
make sure you take that shit out in post. God damn it.
Yeah, guys, I'm a little busy right now.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you, Jeffrey. His career's in the toilet. He comes on to do this. This fucking revives the shit out of him. He nails it. It's so awesome. Tarantino damn near says he wrote the script with him in mind. And then so I'm knowing this, watching it for the first time, and I see she says, "My husband, your boss, told you to take me out to do whatever I want to do. I want to dance. I want to win. I want that trophy. You better be good." And they get up and they dance.
And it's very self-referential in the fact that
it's so self-referential.
It's of course this dude who's known for being a badass motherfucker dancing.
And as the whole audience, the whole world, we're watching, going like, "Are we about to cringe? Is this going to be cringe? Is this like?"
And it's like,
is
no
it
way.
Awkward? Is it weird? And then it was just a twist competition, which they did masterfully. Right?
Cue the great song.
It was a teenage wedding in the old Chuck Berry.
Chuck motherfucking Berry. Yeah. Also in the canceled corner.
Oh, is he?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me all about it. Well, hold on. We only have 26 minutes left. So
24 minutes left.
Oh, my bad.
No.
I don't want to pull the curtain back, but there's a big-ass timer next to John that I can't see.
I think this might be a good time to bring up the wigs in this movie.
We do have to talk about the wigs because when I was watching this on VHS, I had no sense of them wearing wigs, and it's obvious watching it in HD.
Well, I mean, obviously,
but it works.
Yeah, it works.
No, I think it's great. Like, so who all's wearing wigs, John? Who?
Well, there's two big ones.
Okay, so Mia's definitely wearing a wig.
I don't think so.
I think Travolta's definitely wearing a wig, and I think Jules.
Travolta is 100% wearing a wig.
1,000,000,000%.
1 billion. I will sell this fucking podcast to. I will give this podcast away if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
About the fact that, well, everyone knows that it's a big Hollywood secret. Like, he's been bald for years.
Yeah.
He
fought the shit
he's
out of
killed people for being you've got a picture of me being bald, I'll kill you. Him in Scientology killed people for his baldness.
Yeah, and I have to thank him for going ahead because, dude, I'm bald. I'm balding.
Wait
still,
a second, are you? Let the record state that Grant has a full head of hair right now, and it's very long. It's down by his knees. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
And so we, as younger than him, as a generation younger than him, had to learn, dude, you got to go gracefully, and you just got to own it, and you got to, fucking Butch did. Butch is bald in this, and Die Hard.
No, this is his last vestige of having some hair.
It was a little like a crew, like not like
Yeah,
a
it's
flat top.
No, not a flat top, but I mean, like he's got, but you don't notice because he's such a badass.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
Bruce Willis is looking cut as fuck in this. He's a
Had to be. He was a world class boxer.
right. Well, not only that
would be on
100%.
Like it was a pay per view. Like he was a title boxer.
Well, just to wrap this up real quick, the other one is Jules's.
Of course,
the Jerry curl.
And they had that thing wet as fuck.
It's
with
so
product.
wet activator.
Yeah,
and
dude.
but so if you'll ever notice this on almost every copy of the older ones, I think it's kind of scrubbed from it now. When you see the back cover, he does not have the wig. He's like, I could go in the other fucking
I
room.
heard they shoot these promos.
He like in I'm just like,
well
why is he?
after
Why is he
filming's
gonna? Why is he gonna?
the wig was gone. It was lost
no
in
wig.
antiquity. Yeah,
And like no one fucking noticed.
yeah.
Like it's bizarre. I remember like 20 years ago, I've been like, what the fuck is going on with this picture?
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're at Jack Rabbit Slim's.
Oh man, love that. Again, I'm just gushing over that set and the restaurant concept itself. Like
Oh, it's great.
You could do it from that era now. You could update it and do it from the 90s today. That fucking concept would slay in any major city. I love it.
100%.
They fucking nailed it.
We've got
Live
Steve
music
Buscemi
going.
as
Steve Buscemi.
Buddy Holly.
Uncredited cameo, and he was famous. He was in Reservoir Dogs. Like
Literally 1 year before.
he was famous to me at least by the time I saw this thing.
Oh sure, I knew who
Like
Steve
I
Buscemi
recognized him, and I was like, "Is that Steve Buscemi? Is that I don't know? Is that guy?" You know.
Yeah, he was that guy at that point.
Again, beautiful dialogue. Steve Buscemi says she says she'll have the $5 shake, and he says Amos and Andy, Martin and Lewis, or Amos and Andy.
Martin Lewis or Amos
Now,
and Andy.
this is a reference I didn't get until years later,
neither.
but he was asking vanilla or chocolate because Martin and Lewis were a comedy duo and they were white. Amos and Andy, famous
know
comedy
who
duo,
they are?
and they are black. No, I haven't seen
Dude,
comedy.
it's Jerry
from either of these.
Lewis and
Jerry Lewis
It's
from-
Jerry Lewis and fucking Dean Martin, man.
So okay, great. Okay, cool. You know what? That puts it a lot into okay.
Yeah, no,
Glass
I
just shattered.
don't get that fucking reference either at the time. You know, fuck no.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't. Yeah.
and Vince is on heroin. He's rolling a cigarette.
Try that $5 shake. So, for the purpose of the podcast, I found a financial calculator today that said
$5 shake.
A $5 shake in
damn
1994. But let's face it, any restaurant's going to actually round that up to 10.
Sure.
So that'd have been a $10 shake as of today, which. You know, people are spending more and more and more money out at restaurants, and people are valuing
true?
experiences more. So I think these days, but still, $10. You could get an entree for $10. You should get all the Taco Bell or McDonald's you can stomach for $10 or less.
I was talking to future guest of the podcast and Darby Tharp, my dear mother.
Yes.
And she was like, I used to buy gas for 65 cents. And I'm like, well, I used to buy it for 88 cents. That's not that difference.
it was
Now
88.
it's $4. What the fuck happened?
The day I got my license, it was.
And then I told her, I was like, Mom, late stage capitalism is what happened. God damn it. Thanks a lot, Obama.
Yeah, you guy. You darn guy.
Anyway, quit getting me off topic here.
Sorry, buddy.
So they have a great, lest we forget about Don't Be a Square. That was fucking huge. It was in the trailer.
It was cute, but fucking but again, they nailed it.
No,
Like,
but like the
it
whole
could've
"Don't
been-
be a square,"
Don't be
like
a- and then she makes the
yeah,
square
dude, like
shape.
that was the coolest shit ever. It's like it's so fourth wall breaking, like so like self-referential, whatever. Like he's breaking rules, man.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was the coolest shit. Like like
here's one thing from that scene that really stood out to me was she goes to the bathroom to powder her nose, which is a hilarious turn of phrase because
It's
she's
a
literally
literal
going to shove powder up her
and everyone
nose,
else is like,
which cracked me up. But all these other it is a full bathroom full of women,
and she's snorting cocaine
primping
in
their
front of
hair
God and
shit,
everyone.
and she's the only one. Like she does a solid rail of cocaine.
God damn.
And all the ladies around her acted like there's nothing to it. So
Or maybe they just got done snorting their own lines
maybe
of
they
cocaine.
did. Yeah, I don't know. Cool. Like that was for me a bit jarring. I was like, holy shit, does this happen, or is it just the movie being a movie?
No,
You know what I mean?
I think it's just like it's in a movie.
Yeah.
It's just a movie. And well, it's also just fucking so LA. This movie is so fucking
Yeah,
LA.
and that's my question. It's like I was 13 in Missouri at the time. I wasn't,
Shout
30.
out to future guest, the state of Missouri.
Right? And then but I wasn't 30 in LA in
Sure.
1993 when this was filmed. So
Yeah, 100%. Like, of course, no doubt. Also, I forgot to say this early on. Speaking of LA, Jules and Vincent's elevator ride that had to have been the 45th floor of an LA fucking shitbag high rise.
I've been in a slow elevator before, but that thing took a minute.
It's a 2-minute fucking scene.
It took him, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
But
So
I
Jack
even
Rabbit
I even
Slims-
like that. I even like that more because it's like everyone's like, no elevator in LA takes that long. He's like, fuck it, I'll make it longer.
Yeah.
It's stylized. It's
So,
like obviously it
speaking
doesn't
of
take that
stylized,
fucking
in
long.
the Jackrabbit Slims scene, we see we get a better look, especially these days with high def. We get a better look at Vincent's costume, and I used to think he was wearing the Reservoir Dogs outfit.
No, he
but
is
he's
in
not.
the rest
he's
of the-
wearing He's wearing black denim jeans. With a really great suit coat and then a white shirt and it tucked in and a bolo tie.
He's wearing a Texas tie.
Yeah,
He's
so
wearing a
bolo
Texas tie
is a
because
choice.
he's off duty.
He's
In the rest of the film, he's wearing a fucking black tie.
a black tie. Yeah,
He's wearing the Texas tie.
Yeah, 'cause
in
he's
only
off
that
duty.
scene.
He's
He's
dressed
off duty.
down. He's dressed down.
And
He's fun.
he's
And
got a southern
turquoise is
drawl.
fun.
You
It's
know he's got a
Western.
southern drawl
Turquoise
too.
is Western. He does have a southern drawl. Yeah, a touch. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I felt like the jeans. Okay, so you're saying the black jeans were because he's off duty. So,
Yes.
So he's no
Same
longer
thing with
a
the Texas tie.
Okay.
He's still wearing a dress shirt
Okay,
and
that's
he's still
astute.
wearing a suit coat.
That's astute. Okay. Yeah. Got it. No, that tracks.
Right. Like, so anyway, they get their dance on. It's great. They come back to the house. They're having great fun. I don't know what you call that. It's great.
Yeah.
Like,
And dude, that was absolutely a date. I mean, they are now in date mode. Like
And that's when
they
Lisa,
are. The
he
she
says,
goes,
you can go home, you're going to jerk
and
off,
how
and you
many
go to bed.
times has my wife told me? We get home from a date. She goes, music, drinks, and I go, I'm going to take a piss. Little too much information.
Right. Yeah.
But you go right ahead.
Oh shit. Okay. So speaking.
So they're in date mode, and he's talking himself out of.
Speaking of bathrooms, this movie is a movie about bathrooms.
Okay,
Follow me here.
go on.
How many fucking times? Well, Vince is in the bathroom in this movie like 4 fucking times. He's in the bathroom right there, talking to the mirror.
Yeah.
You're just gonna go home, you're gonna jerk off, and that's all you're gonna
That's
fucking
all
do.
you're gonna do.
He's in the bathroom taking a shit right before he gets murdered by
True.
Butch.
Yes, word.
He's in the bathroom taking a shit at the coffee shop before he comes out to see
True.
fucking the whole thing happen there.
We already said Mia Wallace was.
Mia
storing
Wallace
coke
is in the bathroom 2 different times in this movie. She's in the goddamn scene. She's in the bathroom. No, maybe that's the only one.
We got Butch and Fabian in the bathroom, over and over
twice
again,
at
which I
least.
think you maybe even see a swinging dong when he gets out of the shower.
Maybe even.
Yeah.
God willing.
He's a beautiful man.
Especially back then, man. He was pretty cut back then.
Yeah, for sure.
He's coming off a bad Hudson Hawk.
Blasphemy! You take it back, sir.
It's not that good. And I'll tell you what else is not good. The Last Boy Scout. I'm sorry, buddy. Tony Scott's a good director, but
I
that
thought
movie
that
fucking
shit was so
sucks.
cool when I was 13 and a Boy Scout.
Even though that's nothing to do with Boy Scouts.
It says Boy Scout on it.
You're like, hell yeah. Dad take me to see. He's like, no.
Hell yeah. No, this is something we rented without
Right.
telling our parents.
Hell yeah.
At
Hell
a
yeah, it
video
is.
store that we had to walk to.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to future guest Warrensburg, Missouri. Moving on. So yeah, it was so Mia Wallace ODs, comes back. That's pretty fucking. This is another thing
Yeah,
that I
he's
didn't understand as a kid. Like I'm like, well, she's doing. I'm like, I don't get that. That's his coat. It's his heroin. She thinks it's cocaine. She snorts it. She
I
fucking
didn't
ODs.
track with that the first time, but definitely later.
It took a couple watches, and he's like, but he, the character immediately realizes what happens. Also, why do these motherfuckers have trench coats in L.A.? It's pretty fucking
Well, again,
rainy.
he's west. He's west. You know, it fits with the bowler tie.
He just came from Amsterdam. That's true. It's kind of a rainy.
Cinematically, okay. So as an actress, she nails it, and also the director nails the camera work here. She does her line. The movie's just kind of doing what it's doing. There's multiple camera angles. She goes ahead and does this line. Oh, the look she gives when she sees the bag. She's like,
"Oh shit, this dude likes to party too. I like to party."
Yeah. So she goes ahead and it gets white powder, so she thinks it's cocaine, and she does
a great job.
Just like, so now, boom, we got a close up camera right on her
she's
face.
like, "Oh no,
and the way she whimpers, and starts digging it, clawing at her nose to try to get it out is the most human reaction you would have.
And then it becomes brutal, and then everything becomes brutal after that.
And then boom, lights out, camera back on her face, and it's just trained on her face. It's the morphine or whatever is oozing out of her mouth and her nose.
She's just
everywhere.
Frothing,
And it's trained on him. You can't see him, but you can obviously hear a door open and close. And he goes, "All right, so hey, Mia,"
hey,
and he had just
gotta go, doll. Oh shit,
no! And the urgency in his voice. He knows exactly what happened. He's been around drugs, and it's just
he knows
so
the
real.
deal.
This is exactly how it would happen. And Tarantino gets the time to let this play out instead of I feel like newer movies or any other movie, just they kind of have to
it's pretty brutal for the time. For 1994, this is pretty brutal shit.
Yeah. They're gonna dance around.
This is a dark comedy. This is a dark comedy, but it's a comedy. This is a dark comedy where they're showing someone's heroin overdose. Unbeknownst heroin overdose, and then all of a sudden becomes funny again. Yeah, because then he puts her in the car. Yes, Lance, I'm in big fucking trouble here, man.
Prank caller,
right? Which is so
one of my favorite
funny.
lines. I've used that a million times.
100%.
Are you on a car phone?
That's what I'm saying.
Prank caller.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't bring some fucked up boob here.
I always thought it was poop.
So I was watching it with the subtitles on, and he says boob.
Bullshit.
Well, the subtitles say boob.
Yeah, whatever.
Which subtitles have been wrong.
Goddamn right they have
I've caught wrong subtitles.
I love the banter between Lance and Vince when it's just like, well, I don't know. Why don't you quit talking to me?
Yeah.
If you quit talking to me, maybe I'll get say,
what do you mean you've never done this before? Yeah. So I'm going to bring it down and stab him 3 times?
He's like, do I got to stab her 3 times? Yeah, that shit's fucking hilarious. Thank you, Jody.
Thank you, Jody.
Whatever. Actually, that's probably from the other scene.
She's so,
and it's so great. The sound, though, of
thunk.
So Rosanna Arquette's face, she's champing at the bit.
Talk about
she's champing at the bit. She's smiling.
Dude, when the arm is up in the air, the needle, and the adrenaline is dripping off of the needle. We are all
that shot's great.
Electrified.
Yeah, that shot's great.
Rosanna Arquette's face.
The focus changes from the back of the needle to the front of the needle, and then a couple drops come out.
And in that moment,
shit.
you pay for the little seat, but you're only using the edge.
Yeah,
folks.
dude.
Yeah,
and it cuts to Rosanna Arquette, and she's fucking smiling. She's like,
she's living for this.
Yeah. And basically, it's the suspense that we all come back. Say something.
Yeah, she says the word something.
It is pretty funny though. She's running around like there's a fucking syringe sticking out of her chest. And shout out to, damn it, I don't have in the notes, but the girl who plays just bong smoking lady who's there in all of the Lance's house drug dealer scenes.
Oh yeah, because Lance is gonna try to set Vincent up with her.
Right. Oh yeah, which is my favorite one of the. That's another one of those throwaway lines.
The one with all the shit in her face.
No, that's my wife.
And that could have gone either way.
Sure.
But they just start laughing.
Yeah, they're like, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah.
Up, but okay.
Do you take Twistix? Will you take a Twistix? Yeah, that's fine. Instead of a balloon, I'm all out of balloons.
I'm all out of balloons.
For your regular heroin dealer.
I'm thinking, how do you get the heroin in the balloon?
I don't.
Do we use the world's smallest funnel? Right?
Probably. Yes.
But why a balloon? Why not a baggie? Like, I don't, what?
Rubber's thicker. I don't know.
know,
I have
but
absolutely no idea.
But it makes sense. Like, we there's, in drug culture, like, yeah.
It's got to be for a reason.
Well, I know you want to put it in balloon if you're going to mule this shit and you
Well,
want to
I don't think Vincent's muling this shit.
No, he wants to use it.
Yeah. And abuse it.
So there's, again, with the comedy, with, they give you just 3 seconds of Vincent and Mia driving.
Oh yeah, just 3
home
seconds
with her makeup running smeared.
Well, she's got blood all over her face. Yeah,
and they both just look wrung out.
Yep.
they're
it's
not
kinda,
talking.
And
it's kind of funny.
Oh, 100%. It's kind of an agreement where, like, we're definitely not talking about this shit. Ever again.
Because that was like the most fucked up shit either one of them had seen in a while. And then they get to her doorstep and she says, "You want to hear the joke from
right?" I'm not even going to allow it on this podcast.
Oh, damn it! Okay. But this is a great time to say, like, she cuts the tension again with the joke, and it's a nice moment.
Sure.
And, yeah. Mia's the shit, and this may be a lot to put on somebody, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out there. This may be a lot to put on somebody, but I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out there that, like, I don't know how much of this was me in my own head building this up, or how much this movie actually influenced my actual wife's, like, life. But, like, she's very, I feel like I maybe married an iteration of Mia Wallace, because my wife is this same, like,
wife.
She is like really similar jokes, similar tension cutter, similar with just kind of like holding back and not letting you know where you stand until shit gets way blown out, and then it's like, it's all good. You know what I mean? Like,
as a person who knows your wife, shout out to future podcast guest. We won't even reveal who Grant is married to.
Yes, no, non-reveal. I love it.
Who even knows?
Yeah. But, like, she even
I've
has
known
this
your
diatribe.
wife for 20 fucking years. So yeah. I think that's a pretty fair assessment.
Mia has this diatribe that's
for sure.
She says, "Whoa, you can." He says, "Can I want to ask you something? You know what? You're gonna get offended. I want to bring it." She says, "Listen."
Well, now you have to say it.
Well, not only that, but you can ask. You're going to say whatever you're going to say. And my natural reaction would be to get offended. And, of no consequence of my own, I would have broken my own promise.
Sure.
So, like, it's just, she's so true to who she is. And I just, yeah. So shout out to future podcast.
Future podcast, my wife.
You're pretty fucking cool.
Okay, moving on. So now we're at Young Butch. We've already kind of gone over it. My ass. Gunna named Wanaki.
A gunna named Wanaki.
Dane Coolidge. He was not as lucky as his father. God damn it! It's so hard to not do it. I love some fucking walking.
Christopher Walken.
So obviously, Butch has reneged on the deal and double crossed
Marcellus Wallace.
Marcellus Wallace, played by Ving Rhames. Shout out to future guest Ving Rhames. He jumps out of the. It's pretty crazy because, like, he wakes up, and he's wearing the shit, and, like, everyone's like, "Come on, champ," all that stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, getting psyched up, and then you just hear the radio.
Yeah.
From the cab, and you see him jump out the fucking window. You're like, oh shit, we got a double cross here because he took all that payoff money. That it was like, hey, I'll give you the money to throw the fight.
Yeah, once the fix was in, the line went through the roof, and he bet the other way.
There you go. And Esmeralda Villalobos picks him up. Honey, I'm American. Our names don't mean shit.
Our names don't mean shit. That's a great line, and it's so true.
Great. And also, another thing that's great in that scene is obviously the cab is not actually a cab moving anywhere. Mm-hmm. So it's just like there's some guys probably pushing it
Rocking
left to
the
right,
car.
and there's like the kind of the backlit thing,
And they have a screen running behind it.
But the smoke is just like, and is can I get one of those red apples, one of those cigarettes? Like the smoke is just like running up, like it's like right next to the window.
Yeah, and it would be going out.
But the idea is like that it's so obvious that they're in a car. So it's like it's not like he's trying to trick you. So it's like
choice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like even as a little kid, I'm like, oh, they're in a car. They fucked this up. No, they didn't. Oh, that's fucking cool. It's a choice.
Guess what, dude? It was super noir. It was crazy noir.
Definitely the backdrop stuff.
But the light from the rearview mirror, like they got the light on Esmeralda's eyes, I think, or am I just misremembering?
No, that's fair. No, it's total homage to like Double Indemnity.
Yes.
Have you seen like Double Indemnity?
Love that movie.
Like, dude, I don't even like. I'm not.
Shout out to future podcast where I'm back and we talk Double Indemnity to nobody
that no one gives a flying fuck about. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, like this movie is so. I didn't want to go too deep into this part, but like Quentin Tarantino is just like, let's make every single fucking scene an homage to whom I love.
Else.
Every single fucking scene, just about, like.
And again, it's pulpy. It's pulp. It's like he was pulling from all this wacky shit from his childhood that I'll never be able to piece together all the stuff that influenced this.
You could totally make a film about Captain Crunch, bro.
Okay.
Don't sell yourself short. But I mean, like I'm not a film critic. I don't have a whole lot of idea. Yeah, I do. Whatever. But there's all kinds of, dude, this is one of the most revered, talked about fucking movies of all time. People are like, well, this means this and this means that. I don't know all that shit, but I mean, like, but it's not lost on me that some of the shit is very obvious. It's in your fucking face. Yeah. And Quentin Tarantino's just like, I'm leaving it right here for you. I'm trying to say, hey, Akira Kurosawa, I'm in love with you, which is fair, and it's cool, and like, and yeah, whatever, yeah. Anyway, moving forward. So so now we get Butch. He's back at the hotel room with Fabian, and we meet his girlfriend, and that whole thing. Yep. She's incredible. Yeah. Like, I think she is just fucking doing it. Like, she's just fucking doing it. Like, a lot of people are, like, annoyed by her performance. Like, when I was looking up a bunch of, critics shit, whatever. And I'm just like, she's fucking killing it, dude. Like,
she's the epitome of soft, sweet, cute.
Yeah, and supportive. Supportive is the deal. Like,
also, can I get into some fan theory with her? That whole potbelly thing, she's pregnant. She's gonna tell him when he passes out. She's gonna tell him that
I
she's
have never, ever in my life thought of that.
Took it on face value too. I took the scene at face value too. But doing show prep for this, there's a ton of fan theory that, like, look, a potbelly, she's trying to convince him that it would be okay for her to look that way, and she doesn't want to put it out there.
Interesting.
And then he says, I'm going to go to bed. She follows him out of the bathroom and says, hey, Butch,
he's already asleep.
I want to tell you. And
he's
then
already
he's asleep, and she goes, never mind. And that's what else would she be telling him? And then she wakes up and she wants 5 blueberry pancakes, 10 pieces of sausage.
That's a lot of food.
She wants all this food.
She's kind of a small person.
Yeah. She's pregnant.
I love the shot that she's brushing her teeth, and then she's brushing her teeth again. It's night to morning.
We're telling you that like 8 or 10 or 12 hours have passed.
Yes. Yeah.
I noticed that too.
It's great. And then that, like, I kind of hate the scene, you forgot my fucking watch, you fucking whore.
Well, but he's a boxer, man. Like, he's a violent person. He would
also
react that way.
Tarantino has often said, he's like, I don't even like the way that I allowed in the edit Butch to come off.
The way he threw that TV?
No, he's like, I wanted Butch to be way more of a fucking jerk than he looks in the movie. Like, he should be
He's
more
dynamic,
jerky
though.
of that.
This makes him dynamic, though.
Well, I guess, but I mean, like, but like, I mean, like, he wanted him to be a fucking straight up jerk, like a bad person.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know,
we shouldn't have identified with him.
Right. Like, you know, we shouldn't have
better
liked
that you
him.
do.
You know, like, but he's fucking great. Bruce Willis as Butch is so good.
Write, okay, if that was Tarantino's intention, why would you write the part where he goes, "I'm sorry, how could you have known that this would be this important to me? I said it, but I also told you to get a lot of other stuff." You know, he sat there and explained why she shouldn't.
Well, but that still makes him like that doesn't make him not a fucking jerk off. Like, you know, like I do that shit all the time. I'm a jerk off. I'm like, you know.
So what do we know about his character? He was willing to throw a fight. He then double crossed.
He's a criminal.
The guy who threw
He's
the
a
fight.
murderer.
He's totally willing to murder to get his watch back.
Yep.
Yeah. He had a bookie.
He murdered
He's
someone
gonna be
in the ring.
Knoxville, Tennessee. He murdered a dude in the ring, and was like, and said,
I don't feel
Floyd
the least
had it
bit
coming,
bad.
should have never been in the ring if he.
Let's not talk. I also we failed to talk about the phone booth scene. Let's
Phone
not.
booths.
Let's not talk,
shout out to future podcast guest phone booth.
Well, let's not talk about the poor and unfortunate Mr. Floyd. Let's talk about the rich and prosperous Mr. Butch.
Mr. Butch, yeah. Which how crazy is it that like, if this, like Floyd, the name Floyd, like just keeps coming up in boxing well after this movie.
Sure.
Floyd Mayweather, like,
Sure.
and there were Floyds prior that I'm, you know, didn't look up, but I know there are famous boxing Floyds prior to this movie. And now incredibly famous Floyds after. What a great boxing name! Like it's a.
I suppose like also there's a good piece about the person who designed Butch's kind of boxing. What do you call that? Like
the robe. The robe that they wear.
Like. He was like, I want this to look like 1955, like your fucking Rocky Marciano, you know, type of shit, and it just keeps coming. This like, it's like they shot a budget film, like at $8 million is a budget film, making 100 domestic, 250 worldwide. You know, like it's a fucking knock out of the park, man. You know, like, and it's none of his own shit. Like, I think he got $1 million to be like, okay, develop this film, like a development deal, just like. You can have an office, you know, you can start talking to people, you know, you need a budget. Like if you can get all these actors to agree to work for scale and shit and work for small amounts of money, like then, like I said,
just show them Reservoir Dogs. I mean,
and that's why everyone was like, oh, like shit.
So if you're into filmmaking, you're probably into films.
Yeah.
And like if I show you something really great and and flex an artistic muscle that none of us ever get to flex outside of film school.
But I think that's also why John Travolta was like, I need top billing and I need to be paid the most. But by paid the most,
it's like
he got paid $150. He got paid $140,000, and Bruce Willis got paid $30,000.
Oh, right.
And the Jack Rabbit Slim set cost $150,000, which was the most important, but it was $8 million. A lot of that shit was marketing.
But, so are you saying that you found that the robe was made for the film, or did they just
pull
it off of another set?
Because
that happens too. Like wardrobes can be shared on a
Tarantino's like, I need this thing to be fucking beautiful, like it would happen. Like we'll pay whatever it costs, which on a quote unquote.
So you're just trying to sell the high level of this boxing.
Yes.
Match.
Yeah. I never thought it was high level. Okay. Like I think it's low level, if anything. Like, but at the same time, like it's like Butch seems like a guy who's like hell bent on ceremony.
Okay.
He loves his robe. Like I think that Tarantino is like, this dude is an old school guy. You know, he's like a 50s guy.
Yeah. He knows the lyrics to "Smoking Cigarettes and Watching
Captain Kangaroo."
Now don't tell me.
Also, he's a murderer.
Yeah, also
lest we forget that.
Murderer.
But so anyway, yeah, you know, so obviously, you know, he commits violence. You know, that part's just kind of hard to watch. You know, it's like you fucking bitch. You know, I hate you. I told you about the fucking watch.
Yeah.
And there's a great part in there. He's like, well, it's important. I don't have time to go into it, but I'll tell. But you know, but trust me, it's important. You know, or whatever, because it's like the homage. You know,
it's an homage.
We've already seen the thing. And then he
don't have time to go into it. But trust me, it's fucking important.
Trust me. So you know, so they go do the thing, and then he, you know, creeps back in the apartment, which is like you're speaking earlier about just building tension. I mean, like that long ass 4-minute long fucking Steadicam shot of him just creeping all the way back into his house. I love it when he stops, when the camera stops, and then he goes upstairs, and the camera follows him. You know, like that's fucking shit. It's great. And
again, kind of breaks the fourth wall in a way, because you have to get a sense for there being a cameraman to do that.
Sure, absolutely, right? Yeah. Because the whole time you kind of been following. You're like, yeah, what's up? I'm with the guy, and now we've stopped.
Yeah,
and now he goes up, and then the next shot is.
But it also puts you right in the moment. Too.
Sure. But you don't care at this point because you're like it's pretty fucking high. You know, it's high risk. It's tense. So the next shot is a super close shot on the key going in. Yeah, dude. You know, and it's just like, oh shit, and he's in there. I just hated that. Like as the watcher, as the viewer, he's like, oh, Butch, you're all home free. Making a bunch of noise and shit. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, dude. Well, no, but on first watch,
because no one's in there.
I didn't think anybody was in there too, man.
No, of course you don't.
Yeah,
because that's the whole point. You know, like, but just like he sees the machine gun and he's like, oh shit, toilet flushes, bathroom again.
Yeah,
fucking Vincent Vega taking a shit again. And then blasts him.
Yeah,
has to blast him. I think it looks great when he gets blasted, like does. It just looks great. Yeah, it looks really like that's how that would happen.
They got some really good blood splatter on
dude.
Spatter, I guess is the word, on that door, on that
Travolta plays a good dead body right there.
He does.
He really does. And
do you have the trivia on what book Travolta was reading on the toilet?
I do not. Do you?
I had it in my first set of notes that I unfortunately lost and threw away. But
shout out to our
podcast listeners.
Old notes that are never coming back. Thanks a lot for mentioning it. I had it in my old notes. Way to go, guy.
Yeah, those. But that book is kind of cool. It's one of Tarantino's favorite. Like, you can look up what it was and
what was it?
It's all right. Moving on. Sorry.
So
they can't all be winners.
So obviously, Butch has won, and he says to himself, you know, that's why we're going to win, man, you know, because they keep underestimating you.
Yeah.
And then we see Marcellus fucking Wallace at the intersection.
Just walking across the street.
Motherfucker.
Man, he does. Motherfucker.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Both their reactions, just like Bruce Willis is kind of like looking around, singing the song, and then his eyes kind of coming into focus, being like, gas it, you know, like
yeah, and he guns it to run him over and kill him.
And then this is what I don't understand, you know, like Kathy Griffin playing herself.
How is she playing? Was she credited as herself?
Yes.
Weird, man.
It is L.A.
Like,
I mean, like
LA
she's probably right over here at the comedy store.
The comedy store.
She's probably at the comedy store.
Yeah.
You know, some shit. You know, it's like,
so
but like everyone else there,
not only was it
like
her, but it's her too in the movie.
Yes.
Great.
It's bizarre.
So
like
bizarre.
I love it. It's a choice.
Yeah.
It could have been like Kathy playing Kathy. Instead, it's Kathy Griffin as herself.
As herself. Hilarious.
And that whole thing, and then Marcellus Wallace kills a woman trying to shoot at Butch.
Oh, yeah.
She's dead.
That hand cannon he pulls out. I want to look up what
It's a
there's
there's
50.
a
There's an internet database for guns in films, and
it's
just
a
like
50.
cars in films.
It's the same gun from.
It's the Desert Eagle. It looks like
It's
a Desert
it's
Eagle.
a fucking Desert Eagle.
But I was concerned
It's
that Desert
huge.
Eagles weren't to prominence yet in 94.
100%.
So
It's a Desert
it's a
Eagle.
hand cannon.
By the way, they fucked up later on when I hate it so badly. At the end of the film, it's like, when this motherfucking 9mm, that's a 45.
I thought the same thing, and I looked it up. There's a guns in movies database, and I thought the same thing. It looks
It's a 45.
bro. Jules's gun.
Don't you bro me.
I looked this up. It is a 9mm built on a 45 thing.
That's the dumbest fucking shit I've
We
ever
can
heard
look
in
it
my
up.
life.
We can.
I don't.
Yeah. No.
Why
I
would
thought the
you
same
even have
thing.
to do that?
They're two guns. They're two different
Okay,
guns.
okay.
They were apparently made for the film. They were nickel plated for the film.
Pearl handled,
but he
all
didn't
that
want
shit.
both guns to be the same gun, but he wanted them to look very similar. So that's what the Master at Arms had to go get this very obscure 9mm that looks like in 1911. I know. I had a problem with it too, and it checks out.
Okay, all right, well.
Because I was that line, Mr. 9mm here. Yeah, I know. It's problematic. It should have been Mr. 45 ACP here.
Okay. Well, anyway, so we could quickly roll into the pawn shop scene. You know, they fight each other and roll in there, and Jesus Christ. The mind of Quint. This is where everything else. I'm like,
is different.
This is. You know, I kind of believe everything else. The whole movie. You know, I'm like, yeah, mob shit.
And then it takes a turn into Fantasyland.
Yeah,
yeah, dark, nasty, scary Fantasyland.
It gets but also this is some of you know. I'd be remiss and not bring up this the N-word drops, you know, they're just get super hard here.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Well, now hold on. There's a lot of racist pejoratives thrown around all the way through the movie, starting pretty early. So Christopher Walken, because
yes.
he's a Vietnam vet, has a lot of choice words for the Vietnamese.
100%.
Before that, we've got the Eric Stoltz's character. I've already forgot his name. He's dropping in bombs.
Look, I'm not I was gonna save this for the end.
Oh, okay.
But
okay. No.
But actually, you know what? So we all know that Quentin Tarantino loves to dance around with the N-word.
Well, he wants to get away with it, or at least maybe he wants the privilege, the ability.
That's kind of what I'm saying. It's egregious. You know, it's a white dude writing a story to be like, no, but his wife's black.
Yeah,
so he can say it. So it's like, hey man, you can't do that. No, hold on a second. It's like, how you can't do it? He's like, well, I didn't say it. My character said it. Yeah. But you wrote the movie.
You wrote the movie. And then you literally acted in the scene that's way ahead of what we're talking about now.
That's not what this podcast is about.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. I said the thing.
Choice.
It's
interesting choice.
I mean, interesting choice, all right.
Okay, so
we did it many times over.
Let's explore, especially when they're talking about the coffee. I don't need you to tell me how good my coffee is, Jules.
I like it the best when he calls him Julie. He's like, "Don't fuck with me, Julie."
Yeah,
the first thing he says. It's like the first thing he says to him.
Yeah, and it seems like he really he goes hard in that scene, and it's uncomfortable for everyone watching ever.
Everyone.
And so if you're new to if you hadn't seen that movie until recently ever,
Oof.
It obviously
Zillennials are gonna be unwoke.
Yes, Gen Z needs to understand this was visceral and out of place and shocking at the time as well. Don't look back at this and be like, they're just throwing the N-word around in 1994. No, they weren't. This was all real, kind of in your face.
extremely in your face. And
it just-
Spike
it
Lee
adds-
famously was like,
it adds texture to the film, good or bad. I don't know, but probably bad.
Years
It's not good.
later, Spike Lee had said, "Man, I like Quentin's fucking movies. I like his movie. Why does he think that he's allowed to do that though?"
Yeah.
And then eventually, when it comes around to Django Unchained, which is a different conversation in itself.
Okay, so it's a period piece where that word would
No. They've had problems the entire time since this one. You know, but then once he's like, "Look, dude, my heritage and the trouble of my people is not your fucking spaghetti western."
Right. Sure. Yeah,
I understand
that's a
that.
great point. It was either Redman or Method Man was on a radio show that I listened to a lot, and he explained it like this: like, look, when you go to visit a friend at your friend's house, there's a thing where most people that respect each other as people wouldn't just open the refrigerator and start rummaging through. Right? Until you ask, right? So so Redman called that refrigerator privileges, and he's like, and so it seems like all these white people, especially in this scene that we're talking about with Quentin Tarantino, it seems that Tarantino desperately wants refrigerator privileges, to use that word, from the black community, and he writes in the black wife or whatever,
He
his
writes in the black
relationship
wife.
with his friendship with Jules or whatever it is, and how awesomely he portrayed Marcellus or whatever. I mean, he wants refrigerator privileges, to use this word. Right. And Redman said, "Sorry, white people, you're just never going to get
Yeah.
You don't have refrigerator privileges, to use that word, and you never will. So just don't.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
just
just
let it
don't
go.
do it.
Just let it go." And so
What's wrong with you?
that's where I'm going to leave it. But so no buts. That's just where we're going to leave it.
However, shout out to future next podcast why I should be able to use the N-word. Just obviously
And
completely fucking joking.
canceled.
It's you can't get canceled before you start. But 100% though, like I get it where like it just seems so egregious when he's just like, "Oh, but the wife's black."
Yeah.
And it's like, "Oh no,
that didn't hit
dude,
right
no."
for me from the get-go.
No.
Yeah.
Like, even when I'm a kid, I'm like, how come Jules is letting him talk to him like that?
Well,
And I'm like, well, because he's in a
they're
fucking pinch
situation.
right
They're in a
here.
pinch.
He's in a pinch right here.
They're in a pinch.
But this sends me off in this whole
And
other
who
thing.
knows,
It's like,
maybe it actually does a lot to show off the ignorance of white people and the times,
or
and
all kinds
maybe
of things.
this
Like,
advances, like, I don't know, man. Maybe we need a black guy in here to talk with us about this, because again, we don't have refrigerator privileges.
100%. Not until next week on our podcast, Refrigerator Privileges, starring Kathy Griffin.
The Refrigerator Privilege Podcast.
So moving on. So now we're in the dungeon. Like it gets,
Who has a sex dungeon?
we're in the
gimp?
dungeon.
With a gimp. What
The gimp is
fuck
in a
happening?
locked box.
The fuck is happening?
The gimp is in a locked box.
This is insane. Like, you have no idea how hard I had to hide these scenes from my parents seeing, because we wanted to watch this film over and over and over again.
Of course.
And we knew we couldn't have our parents walking in on this shit. This
It's such a choice though. Like, Zed is a cop.
Zed's a cop. Yes, Zed is a cop.
He's
on
cop.
duty and he's obviously the boss. They're business partners, but he's the boss of the two. I don't even know the other guy's name.
It's Maynard.
His
name's Maynard.
Zed's Maynard. We two flies in the spider web.
It's so bizarre. Like, who writes this shit? Like, it's so fucking uncomfortable and crazy. Like, so when I'm a kid, the first time I watched it, I'm like, where the fuck is this going? Yeah. Like, get the gimp.
The gimp. And you're
They
still trying
unlock
to
a
convince
box.
yourself. You see a gimp get out of a locked box.
No, but all of a sudden, so they knock him out, which is a shitty device that we just got to stop. Like, you hit someone in the head and they're knocked out.
He didn't get knocked out until after things.
No, I mean like Butch gets fucking knocked out.
Oh, right.
They're both knocked out,
Yeah.
and then they don't wake up until they're getting water sprayed in
Yeah,
their face.
and that's weird because, like, dude, I've been hit pretty fucking hard by a lot of hard things.
What I'm saying, it's a plot device. It's easy for movies.
yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
Like, so anyway, you know, like...
Suspend some disbelief here.
So the next thing I'm like, oh shit, what's going to happen to these guys? They've got ball gags in their mouth. The next thing I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm 13, 14 years old. I'm like, oh my God. This... it looks like there's a... I was born tonight, but wasn't last night. This looks like a sex dungeon.
Is this like a sex thing?
Like,
yeah, you're trying to figure that out, but you're like, no way. There's no
I'm
way.
like, no way, no.
I've never seen this in a movie.
No, but also like, I don't think they're homosexuals.
Yeah, like why would they be like? Why
Never
would
the
any of
tween
this
shall
be-
meet.
Yeah, like what's
Like, and then you realize that it's not necessarily about homosexuality.
No, it's just about
it's about dominance and raping someone.
rape? Yeah, that's what it's
Like,
about. It's
yeah.
about rape. They could have been female. They could have been male.
Yeah,
It's just about rape and
it's
evil.
And then they bring a fully leather bound person out of a box. What the? Bring out the gimp.
Where there's even a zipper over his mouth,
And it's closed.
and it's closed.
Dude, what about the gimp, man?
What's the gimp
Justice for the gimp.
Well, remember they said you want to put him in.
No, I got it.
Okay,
It's like that's one of the weirdest parts of the whole thing. It's like, you want to do it here? No, let's take him to Russell's old room.
Yeah.
What happened to who's Russell?
Russell's dead, son.
Dude.
Russell's dead.
Right.
They fucked him to death.
Yeah,
they raped him to death. Russell's dead, guys.
There's so many side notes to this movie. Like, there's so many, like, what happened? Like, why do so many people, fucking, the biggest question of the whole film, why does Brett have the suitcase? How does he know Marcellus Wallace?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And but hey, John, he's super sorry that things got fucked up between them and Marcellus.
Why?
We went into this with the best of intentions.
You were talking about best of intentions?
Yeah.
Best intentions?
Well, do you want to talk about the case real quick? Because
No.
I think we should.
Nope.
You got to
Nope.
talk about the case.
No. Nope.
You know what's in it?
Nope. Anyway, moving on. Save it.
Okay.
We'll briefly
save it for the podcast.
talk about your bullshit.
We'll save it for the podcast.
Anyway, so the dungeon scene, it's like, okay, somatically, I don't like it. I hate all the slow-mo shit in it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Like, I feel like this is me, John, the non-cinematographer, shitty podcaster who's dude, I don't, like, I'm talking shit where it doesn't, I'm just like, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, why does it looks shitty. It looks shitty.
Probably suspense. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know, man. It's choices.
Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, God, it looks so like 1994.
Don't forget, he was pretty young. Maybe that's a choice he wouldn't have made today.
I suppose.
But,
whatever.
dude,
like,
the dialogue. Like, let's talk about the dialogue in that scene. Because that's some of the most memorable shit ever.
It's incredible.
He's, what now? What now?
I thought you were talking about the dialogue before that. Like,
what do you got? What do you got?
Up into the whole Russell's old room type of shit, like, and the gimp sits there and you can like,
he's tapping on it.
He's like tapping on the head. And that's another one that I think that sucks. Like whenever like he breaks free from the thing, like the slow-mo. I'm like,
but
damn
isn't it
it
fun when he gets upstairs and he's looking for weapons? He picks up a claw hammer and he's like, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of...
and then he picks up a chainsaw and he's like, oh yeah.
There's a lot of homage in that, I think, in the fact that he's like, well, this is this movie... This is
you think it's like it's homages to hacker slasher movies,
100%,
which they wind up going on to do with Dusk Till Dawn or
you kids out there go look up that scene and there's a lot of people talking about what each thing moves, or means, like and like and then he gets the katana sword.
Which people suggest maybe that's the sword from, and it's not the Kill Bill sword. It's not.
Of course not.
It's been researched, and it's not.
Well, that doesn't make any sense because the Kill Bill sword was made by Hattori Hanzo. Get your fucking shit together, God damn it, man. Well, maybe I'll invite you to.
Or I did. No, I should not be on that one. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Or maybe you blew it.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, you're totally invited.
I could do Hateful Eight. I could not do.
Well,
anything else.
hold on. I'll decide what you'll do. But in that moment, you know, when he sees the katana sword, the audience just like, oh shit. You know, it's too insane.
Well, the wily look in Butch's eye.
Yeah, he's like, well, the fact that he's already decided to save Marcellus
So why does he do that? He wanted me to talk about? Somebody I know, a friend of mine wanted me to talk about why does he make the choice? Why does he make why doesn't he just bail? Why does the character make the choice to go back down there and save?
Because it's the right thing to do.
It does square him up, but you could assume if Russell's dead, he's dead too.
Marcellus it's not about squaring up at all. Because he knows if he walks out of there,
Butch has not done the right thing yet.
Right. Correct. Well, check it out. Like, I think that Butch thinks if the roles were reversed, that he would walk back in there and he had the ability to save Butch. Mm-hmm. You would want him just from a violent rape and death.
You want him to.
And they're both equally mad at these motherfuckers. They're like, how
dare you?
And you have the ability to fucking exact revenge on someone?
Captain of a serious crime syndicate.
Yeah.
And Butch feels like, they keep underestimating you, Butch. You're the man. You're good, apparently pretty good boxer. You're able to elude these gangsters. And so how dare these two redneck fucks, which, by the way, like me growing up in redneck fuckville, I can believe that shit happening in the movie with the Deliverance.
It's homage to Deliverance, by the way.
Of course it is, right? But to see it happen in Los Angeles, it's like, what?
It's the last thing I saw coming in that movie.
Yeah, and that's probably on purpose. But 100%. So he goes down there, he fucking, like...
Dude, okay, so the look on Butch's face when he comes in there, you know, and he fucking slices Maynard.
Yeah.
And then Zed turns around, just like the fire in his eyes.
Yeah.
He's throwing 100 miles an hour right there.
Yeah.
And he's like, pick up the gun. Oh, that a boy.
That
shit's insane, dude. Like, everyone's looking pretty good. And, you know, like, And then lest we forget just the fact that Ving Rhames and his kind of monologue about, you know, like, not monologue, but I mean, like, the exchange between, like, what now? You know, like, I'm about to go to work.
What now?
Fuck!
You okay? Nah, man. I'm pretty fucking far from okay.
Which is in the zeitgeist.
Mr. Serial Suit.
You hear me talking, hillbilly boy? but he's like, he's like, don't tell anyone.
Spend the rest of your short life in agonizing pain.
That's between me, you, and Mr. Soon to be spending his short ass life in agonizing pain. Rapist here.
This dude. These lines are
they're in the zeitgeist. They're everywhere.
So well executed. By the way, the actor, you said his name many times now, Marcellus Wallace.
Ving Rhames, I just said it.
So the reason there's a Band-Aid on the back of his neck is he's got a scar that they thought would be detracted. Because there's so much close-up from the back of his head, they thought it would distract from the scenes.
Oh, is that why? Is that from Quentin Tarantino said that, or
yeah, a little trivia for
I don't believe it.
All right, so what now between you and I meant
What now?
between you and me.
You got your LA privileges revoked.
Yep.
Anyway, they wrote. I don't understand this, but it's still one of those things. It's a MacGuffin or whatever. The hand raise.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So he's zipping up the jacket. He's about to go outside, and he's done. And he's like, "Are we cool? Yeah, we're cool."
Yeah.
And he's like, he raises his hand.
Okay, well, bye. It just means
Yeah,
bye.
but it's like looking away. Never mind. Anyway.
Okay, who knows?
Okay. I'll look it up. I'll write a Wikipedia page about it.
You do that, John.
So he rolls, and he meets Fabian. It's Chopper, baby. Zed's dead.
Yeah.
And there we are. So that's the end of the chronology.
Okay.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yep. But then they take us. Then we as an audience go.
That's the end of the chronology. I'm just saying. But then we go back to the coffee shop.
Yep.
So
where we left off, any of you fucking pricks move, and I'll
Any of you
execute
fucking
every
pricks
last
move.
motherfucking one of ya.
And it's some of the best film ever. Like it's some of the best dialogue ever. Like,
okay, so we're
Jules,
we're talking about
like,
pig's a filthy animal.
Well, first of all,
pork chops taste good. Bacon tastes good.
Like their kind of back and forth is already like at this point just
well
great.
Yeah.
And they're so good together. And then like you can tell that Vince is just like so fucking mad at his like, I'm gonna be like Cain and walk the earth.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm gonna go fucking take a shit.
Kidding me?
So there he is again in the fucking bathroom.
Yeah, again in the bathroom.
And then the whole, I love it. The tracking shot where like he's like, listen here, you motherfuckers. Put your wallets in the fucking whatever. The
manager comes out. We got a hero, honey bunny.
Well, no,
we'll fucking execute him.
Right before that, though, like it tracks kind of across Jules, and he's like, "Shit," like,
yeah.
And then they finally get to him, like, "I want the briefcase," like, and it's like, "I can't give these," like, it's just so great, like, like, I never fail to laugh my ass off. Like, watched it tonight. Like where he's like, where he opens the briefcase, he's like, "Is that what I think it is?" He's like, "Yep." He's like, "It's beautiful." And then he fucking grabs him. He's already got him.
Yeah, he's got him.
It's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like it's funny as hell. And then Yolanda is freaking out. And
then Jules has to talk Yolanda through.
It's
like, put your gun back on me.
Tell that bitch be cool. Tell that bitch be cool. He's like, "No, call her a bitch."
Call her a bitch. He's like, be cool, honey bunny.
Tell that fucking bitch to chill.
Tell that fucking bitch chill.
And he's like, no, put your gun back on me. And all of a sudden, and then she has finger gun.
Yep,
she has finger gun and regular gun on Jewel. Like, like it's great.
She holds a finger gun.
It's great. And then he kind of just like, just brings it back home, like gives them the money. He's like,
yeah, he breaks down the whole thing with, if I said this shit, that meant your ass. And,
yeah.
But now you caught me on a day of reflection. I had what alcoholics refer
no, you
to
caught
as
me when I'm in a transitional period.
Yeah, right. And he says, so I'm thinking maybe I'm the blind man, you're the fool. No, maybe
yeah, sure. But then he's like, no, you're the weak.
Yeah, and
I'm the
yeah, exactly. And so like there's that which brings me to like what's the story arc,
it's irrelevant, like it doesn't even fucking matter. It's his own thing, and it's great because they just let him go, and it's like, hey, we should probably get out of here, and it's like, I think that's a great idea, and that's the end of the fucking movie.
It is, but it was all about the case. I mean, whatever was in that case brought the divine intervention when they first picked it up. Okay, and then it also
divine intervention,
and then it helped, and then it helped Jules to get out of the game, and it's I mean that's the overarching that Jules could grow as a person, right?
Have you heard that it's Marcellus Wallace's soul?
I've heard that it's a soul. I've also heard that
That's
it's
the
the
dumbest shit
diamonds.
I've ever heard in my life.
I've
No, I
also
don't give a
heard that
fuck.
it's the diamonds from...
I'm joking. That's like some...
yeah, it sounds
us being
stupid. What else
16
would it
being
be?
like, it's Marcellus Wallace's soul.
Okay, well, or it could have been the diamonds from
it's a fucking
Reservoir
MacGuffin.
Dogs.
It's a MacGuffin.
What does
It
that
doesn't
mean?
matter.
I don't know what that...
It's a plot device. It's
Okay.
absolutely nothing. It's just furthering the plot. Like, it doesn't even matter. The cooler part about it is it doesn't matter at all.
Right.
What the fuck it is completely fucking irrelevant.
Well, I think it had everything to do with Jules' redemption. That's his story arc. That's his arc, man.
Fair enough. And I will take that. And then whenever they walk out, it's Surf Rider by the Lively Ones, which is the one of the gnarliest songs of all fucking time.
Yeah.
Guess what guitar they all played?
Fender Jaguar.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm just saying.
Nice.
Just saying.
I would have thought it was a Telecaster had you not pointed at the Jaguar.
No. Okay. Well, before we get out of here, let's. I want to talk more about the tertiary characters.
Okay.
Obviously, Sam Jackson's throwing fucking heat.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like he's just like all the like Sam Jackson, John Travolta, Uma Thurman. They all got Academy Award nods.
Yeah.
Like they were all nominated for Best Actor of the fucking year. Great for them. They're like. But I think this is the first time when Sam Jackson really gets into the zeitgeist where it's like everyone's like, oh shit, this dude. This dude can do some shit, man. Like it's like pop culture though, like all that. Say what again, motherfucker? He's so clean.
The what?
He's
Do
so
they speak
clean.
English in what?
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh my
Everyone's,
god, it's so clean.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
all the big hitters in it are so good.
Oh.
Like we have not even mentioned the Wolf, Harvey Keitel.
Yeah, which you're just about to get into side, ancillary
Kind of tertiary characters. Yeah, like he's great, and I'll bet you he did like one day of filming and was like, "Yeah, I got a day for you.
Oh,
I
man.
can do this."
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty pleased with Sugar on Top. Like he's incredible, but like the Amanda Plumbers, Honey Bunny is incredible.
Tim Roth, I had seen 12 Rooms before I saw Pulp Fiction.
4 rooms.
Thank you. Fuck, where was I thinking?
That would have been way cooler if it was 12 of those vignettes.
Shit, yeah. 4 Rooms, and Tim Roth was one of my favorite.
We've got like 5 minutes here, by the way. This Tharp in 30.
Oh,
not
right,
Tharp in
right.
145. So we got
enough.
about 5 minutes. Go ahead.
All right, no, I got it. Oh no, I was just gonna say that Tim Roth he's an incredible actor.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
He's pretty good, it turns out. The way that he has to kind of lay down to Jules, he's fucking badass, and then he's just like, yes, whatever you want, I'll do whatever you say. Yeah, honey bunny.
Yeah, because he's not a real criminal. He's
Right.
They're playing at criminal.
Fucking
It's very.
A, dude.
It's an homage to Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah,
How could it not be?
but they're playing.
Yeah.
Peter Green is Zed. I don't know if you know about him from other films.
Well, he looked familiar.
He's in like Training Day.
Okay.
He plays a piece of shit in like everything.
just always a bad guy. He's got a bad guy
He's
face
not.
about him.
He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
So, but I love him as Zed.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a bizarre.
Perfect
Hey, I
casting.
was Zed.
Perfect.
The
casting.
rapist.
The rapist.
The rapist in Pulp Fiction.
At least he never dropped an N-bomb, or did he?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he did. Okay.
100%.
So he's
several times.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's
Okay.
like, oh yeah, 100%. I already mentioned Phil Lamar as Marvin.
Oh yeah.
He was in It's Pat.
Okay. I don't know that one.
Ween was in that movie.
The band Ween.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
It's a Saturday Night Live film.
Oh yeah, I remember
It's
the
Pat.
sketch. The It's Pat sketches.
Definitely
but I didn't
canceled.
realize there was
about making fun of transgender
Yeah.
people. Does this movie pass the Bechdel test?
Ooh, no, I don't think it does. You got no, because the Mia has no other female outlet. I don't think
It does.
it does. Oh.
Guess who? Guess
Oh,
how?
it's
Can
got
you
to be Eric Stoltz's wife.
Yes,
and,
yes,
and the girl
yes,
just who's hitting
yes.
the bong in the corner.
Talking about piercing.
Talking about piercing. Yes, they're in the background. She's talking about that gun goes against everything, and you got to be with needles. I've had 27 up here, and I've had 3 in my clit, and which also is very tantalizing when you're seeing this at 13.
Wow, I love it.
Yeah.
So, do you have anything to promote coming up?
Oh, coming up in the next few years, me and some friends are working on a business. Hopefully, it'll be really cool if it works out. Don't want to count any chickens before they've hatched, but I used to homebrew with your brother and Darby. And so me and a couple of guys are going to give it a shot and see if we can get our shit together and try to build a brewery.
What are we going to call this brewery?
I don't know. Something shitty, like something about a barrel. Some shitty, like I'm going to pitch Shitty Barrel. Or how about City Barrel? I'm gonna pitch
look out
City
for
Barrel.
it, folks.
So
citybarrel.com.
Citybarrelbrewing.com. City Barrel Brewery and Kitchen, full scratch kitchen with an executive chef. Awesome menu of, it's a restaurant, it's a brewery. You can see the best hazy IPAs in the region on the shelves in the liquor stores. Please check us out.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Thanks a lot, Grant, for coming on the podcast, and hopefully you'll be a return guest and check out your City Barrel Brewing if you're in Kansas City.
Rad AF. Thanks, John.
Cheers.